on.
Let's see.
Todd, did you have trouble getting on?
Oh, here's Heather.
Well,
panelist.
Once I sorted through the multiple emails with the multiple passwords and the multiple webinar numbers and other numbers, no. So yes, I guess.
So for some reason, Heather's an attendee. She must have gone in through the town website.
I just promoted her to panelist, so she should be coming on.
Am I
Here they all come in.
Do you need me to sign out and sign back in?
No, you should be good.
Do you need to see me live?
There's that photo again.
I don't know why that's on right now. Hold on, hold on.
I see a document that says read at start of meeting. That's what shows on my screen.
Why is my video not? Do you need me to sign back on as far as coming in as a panelist or a?
No, I changed you over to panelist, so you're already a panelist.
Okay. You just can't see my video.
Right.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Let's say
So all the attendees can hear and see us now, correct?
I believe so. I got to allow them to talk though, so I'm gonna let them all come in on that part. So let me go through that.
It's saying my videos.
So how did Denise not? Oh, you're letting them all come in as panelists, just muted. Okay.
Interesting. Hold on.
Oh, allow to talk is not available because Mike Wheeler is using an older version of Zoom. Choose promote the panelist to allow to talk. Okay.
You want to mute yourself?
Yeah.
You click that one.
Okay.
Okay, so we should have 6 attendees that should be listening right now and should be able to talk.
Okay. Should or should not?
Should be able to talk right now.
All right. So we're all here. So I guess I can start the meeting, which I'll start it at 7:06 on April 7th. And then Peter, before I do anything else, I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can read your notes.
Start of the meeting. All right, this meeting of the Historic District Commission will take place in a webinar format through Zoom. The chair of the commission is Sarah Moriarty. The host of the webinar is building official. Staff attending this meeting include Peter Zavinglis and Linda Galetta. Anyone speaking should state their names prior to speaking each time. The panelists in this webinar meeting will be the commission members and the building staff.
Oh, he's over here.
Panelists who would like to comment on an item should indicate by the icon to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. After a panelist raises their hand, they will be able to comment one at a time when called upon by the chairperson. Panelists should mute their microphones upon or until called upon. To make a motion or second a motion, commission members can raise a hand and be acknowledged by the host or chair. To vote on a motion, commission members will be called upon individually by the chair to vote. The public can participate in the meeting during the public communications agenda item. The public will be asked to raise their hand during public communications if they want to speak at this time by using the icon to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. The public will be called on by the host one at a time and be able to speak during this time. Attendees must identify themselves before speaking. Attendees can also submit any comments in writing to the building department after the meeting for consideration on any item discussed tonight. I'm not sure one of these applies. Okay, there we go. Never mind. That was it.
All right. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah.
So I guess my first order is to take roll call. So I'll call on everybody individually and just say aye or here if you're here. So Sarah Moriarty, here. Heather Giannakopoulos.
Here.
Todd Brady.
Here.
Don Levinson.
Here.
Eric Goodman.
Here.
Mark Summers. Mark Summers is not here. Staff, Linda Galetta.
Yes.
Peter Zavinglis,
Here.
and Seamus Quinn. Seamus is not here. All right, so I believe our next order of business will be to read the call, Todd.
We're not going to waive the reading of the hearing procedures?
So I had this conversation with Linda, and it really doesn't apply at this point because those hearing procedures aren't really applicable to what we're doing.
Okay. Dear Michelle, please publish the following public notice for one insertion on Monday, March 30, 2020. Town of Groton notice of public hearing, Historic District Commission. The Historic District Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, April 7, 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Groton Town Hall Annex, 134 Groton Long Point Road. To hear the following applications requesting a certificate of appropriateness. HDC 20-16, 31 Gravel Street, Brian and Kathleen Edmonds, owners, applicants, fencing, PIN number 261918424262. ACC 20-17, 340 Packer Road, Harpoon Realty Group LLC, owners, Michael Wheeler, applicant, garage and fencing, PIN number 2710132322265. HCC 20-18, 50 West Mystic Avenue, Kirsten Sutt, owner applicant, compressor and line sets, PIN number 261805271694. ACC 20-19, 8 Elm Street, Jill Mead, owner applicant, shed, PIN number 261918208567. HDC 20-20, 4 Latham Street, Eva Marie Hildebrand, owner, Dennis Knott, applicant, exterior renovations, PIN number 261806392853. Todd Brady, secretary.
Thank you, Todd. So before I open public hearings, I just want to comment to the commission members because I didn't get a chance to earlier. Because everyone has to have their information in so that the public has an opportunity to see it, we can only review evidence or submissions of the documents that are submitted and the narrative that the applicant gives. So we can't attempt to make modifications. Those things that we need more information on will need to be continued. All right, so with that, I'll open public hearings, and I am calling HDC 20-10, 29 Gravel Street. This one, Linda, please correct me if I'm wrong, but this was the addition of the garage that Bob Mercer submitted, and I don't think that he was intending on joining us this evening. He did provide additional documentation that we had asked for previously. So I don't believe that there's going to be a narrative. Is that correct, Linda?
That, as far as I understand, that's correct.
Okay. So to refresh everyone's memory, at the last meeting, Bob had proposed to remove an existing 2-bay garage that was built in the 1950s and to build a 3-bay garage behind the existing 1837 house. Materials will be hardy plank siding, boral, painted trim, asphalt shingles on the roof, and divided light windows. He submitted pictures and maps, but the details of his drawings did not have enough material detail that we were looking for. So he submitted what Peter's showing us now.
Is everybody okay with me to continue scrolling, or they got to look at this more?
If you can scroll just a little bit more down, but still stay on the same page, Peter, thank you.
I think it mostly involved the door to the garage, didn't it?
I'm wondering what is the material for the door?
It's a 3-foot by 6'8" Anderson exterior door, model 178 pine with 4 straight casings, primed and painted. That's on page 7 of the major exhibit suite.
Okay.
Sarah, do you think we need to just make a motion to accept all this documents as exhibits?
So I actually, that might perhaps be a question for Peter, but I believe that once they're uploaded into the system, they are exhibits. We don't have to move on it anymore.
That's my belief, yeah.
Okay.
You can, has everyone seen this page long enough? Can he keep scrolling?
Yep.
Okay.
That's it, actually, just page 1 page.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like he put the information that needed to be there, so I'm okay with it.
So I think it was that right there that you were worried about, right?
It was that, it was the garage doors. I don't think he identified everything, but it seems like he's done it on this one.
All right, has everyone seen the application long enough? I guess we can comment on it when it comes time for deliberations. Is it okay to move on to the next one?
I'm okay.
Yes.
Todd's okay.
All right, so we will close HDC 20-10. And I will open HDC, oh, I'm sorry, this is new to me. I'm gonna reopen HDC 20-10. Would anyone in the public like to speak for this application? Would anyone in the public like to speak against this application? Any hands? All right, HDC 20-10 is closed. So opening HDC 20-15, 54 West Main Street. This is signage. Peter? Are you
Yep,
there?
I'm trying to find it
sorry.
here.
I wasn't sure if it was me.
Peter, it might be actually easier to go on the Agenda Suite website and just open up the packet because it's in,
Yeah, because it scrolls in order, right, Eric? Yeah.
everything's in there. Including like on the last one, just for reference, there was the before and after submissions.
Hang on. Do you see that one right now or no?
No, I can't see anything now.
Oh, great. Shoot. Hang on a second. Let's see.
Yeah, I think as a learning experience, at least because I've got my laptop and my phone, it's very easy to follow along. As Eric was saying, if you just open up that whole agenda suite, you can just slowly scroll down and look at it on your own device rather than looking at it
Individually?
well, yeah, individually, because they seem to follow. So
This is 50, 54, 50. Shoot. This is 54. All right, back out.
Yeah, Peter, I would just go to the Groton meeting website and just pull up the agenda packet because it's,
All right, hang on. Let me go there then.
sorry, it's all there in order.
And Todd, just a heads up, every time you talk, there's somebody behind you that shows up in your video, just to let you know.
that's the sweatshop here. Lynn is making face masks.
No, it's very admirable. I'm just giving you the heads up. My
That's
daughter
right. We're
did
waiting for a raid from the immigration people.
My daughter did one of these and somebody went to the bathroom and forgot to turn their screen off. It was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, that's at the back of the house. It won't be an issue.
So I have the agenda here. Oh, agenda package.
Peter, the full package is under the icon that looks like a book.
"29 Gravel Street." We already did that one, so the next one down. Oh yeah, that would make it easier. Oh, wish I had my mouse. 54 West Main Street. Here we go. Can you see that?
No,
Hello?
we're still looking at 50 West Mystic Ave.
How's that?
There we go. Okay. So this is One Look Signs.
I don't know which sheet you guys want to start looking at first.
Well, I don't know if One Look Signs wants to speak, but I don't think there's anything new to their application. The reason this one's before us is because we had to continue it because the existing sign that they want to add to isn't approved.
Correct. That's
I
exactly right.
don't know if he's listed as an attendee, but Chris from One Look Signs did say he was going to be here. I hope he meant on Zoom and not in person.
I see him as a,
Yeah, can you hear me?
yes.
Yeah, so I'm here, and that's exactly right. So I'm representing Movement Mortgage, who's trying to get a sign put on the outside of the building as you see it in the diagram here. And the question was, what about the other signage? So I don't know where that stands.
So I can speak to that for you, Chris. I reached out, I'm trying to find the date. What was the name of that woman who runs Century 21?
Lori Finan.
Lori Finan. So I reached out to Lori with no response. So then I reached out to, I'm trying to find the email correspondence. Whoever you had been, I think you were working with the owner of the building, Chris?
Well, I was, I attempted to, and I wasn't getting much in the way of a response from him. So
Walter
with-
Bainsley.
yeah, so the woman I was working with at Movement Mortgage, she's the one that reached out to him, and he responded to her. And
Okay.
my understanding is there was a sign where we're proposing to put one, and it's the same size as the sign that was there. And so he said to her, just make it the same size, you should be fine.
Well, so I reached out to Lori on March 9th and to no response. So then on March 19th, I reached out to Walter explaining that the existing sign is not what was approved, whether there was a sign in the same spaces where Movement Mortgage wants to put a sign or not. And he replied on March 20th that he would take care of it. Obviously, he hasn't yet. So maybe our next step would come from the planning office in sending them a letter instead of an email from me saying that they need to comply.
If I recall too, it's not just the sign, it's the entire structure, like the
Right.
whole. Is that correct? Sarah?
That's my recollection of the meeting. I hadn't looked up the previous application, but my recollection from approving the sign was that it didn't look anything like what's there.
So I think until the entire sign posts everything is either approved or in compliance with the original approval, we can't approve an additional sign to an already non-conforming portion, correct?
Yes. So when does this application need to be decided on by Peter?
So I have that here, and the 65-day deadline originally was May 7th.
Okay.
However, the governor has given another 65-day extension to, I believe, all land use applications. That, yeah,
Correct, yeah.
has given it a 65-day extension.
So what type of letter is generated when someone is non-compliant? It's not a cease and desist from your office, but
If it's zoning, it would be a cease and
Right.
desist.
but for us, it's what?
Well, it is a zoning violation because this, well, I don't know necessarily because the sign does a sign even conform with what's allowed under the zoning regs? Or
Well, the size criteria and all that, yeah. I think it would, but I have to
The
look at it.
size- If I remember correctly, there was plenty of, the size wasn't the issue.
Right, because they have 2 streets.
Mhm.
I mean, is there a zoning violation for putting up a sign that's, I mean, isn't there a sign?
It specifies in the zoning regs that it should comply with HDC if it's in an HDC district. So there would be that.
Okay,
So we could, send out a letter saying you're not in compliance with the HDC approval that was given on this, and then have them follow up with that.
all right. I guess that's the best way to start it. And then I'll send another email to Walter letting him know that this has come up again and that they really need to resolve it.
Okay.
Yeah, for
and I
what it's
think
worth,
Yeah, go ahead, Don.
for what it's worth, I'm not real crazy about this sign, the way it is, that's for sure. Seems really cumbersome, and there's repeating of some of the language, and it seems like they could consolidate it and make it a lot more attractive.
Well, the other thing is that the sign we approved was a white lettering on black. So the actual graphics of the sign that we originally approved was changed too. They originally put up the sign they were approved for, but then they changed the nature of the sign because the old sign was hard to read.
But I think there was more components to the old sign too. There was I think if I remember it right, there was a display case or some other piece that they were going to use for listings. I mean, it seems that the whole thing just doesn't match what we approved.
Well, back to the drawing board.
So,
Sorry, Chris.
oh, I'm sorry, Heather, go ahead.
I was just saying, sorry, Chris, I think you need to get the owners to get themselves in shape.
Right. So Chris, I guess my suggestion would be that we continue this again and that I reach out to Walter and the town will send a letter saying that they're non-conforming to their approval, and hopefully that will get some movement on this.
Sounds good.
You still there, Chris?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Now we
Now
can.
we can.
Yeah, so yeah. No, I understand.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay.
So do we need a motion to continue?
We can do that in deliberations.
Okay.
Sarah, can you give me Walter's name again, his last name?
Bainsley, Bansley. Let me just double check my email. Yeah, Walter C. Bainsley, the 4th. Do you want his phone number, Linda?
Sure.
It's 860-326-5100. All right, so we'll close the public hearing on HDC 20-15, and we will open the public hearing on HDC 20-16, 31 Gravel Street. So I believe Kathleen Edmonds is here to speak for this application.
Yes.
Okay. You have the floor.
Oh, we wanted to put a fence across abutting 29 Gravel Street, actually, the Sully. And there's an existing fence, which we've already spoken with our neighbors, and they have no problem with us replacing that fence. But we want to continue it down towards Gravel Street and stopping, having it go from a 6-foot fence down to a 4-foot fence down where it approaches the water. It doesn't, yeah, so behind that wicker seat, it would drop to a 4-foot fence. Then on our driveway, we wanted to put a 4-foot fence over here, kind of just around the bed, and putting a gate. We have dogs and they're barking at everybody that walks by, and it will give us a little bit more privacy. So there would be a gate where that little path is, and then it would come across and go right to the other fence. So the gate would be right where that little path is, attached to the house.
Mhm.
Do we have the description of the materials? Is that in there?
Yeah, it's a cedar fence. We're just gonna do natural. And I did send in a picture, and it has a little bit of lattice on the top.
Should be coming up. There's the location. right
Go
there.
past, go past the site plan, Pete. It should be at the end, the picture of the fence.
Page 27.
There you go.
Two-inch square lattice. It's about,
Right.
it's about a foot.
It's about a foot. Yeah, so the lattice is about a foot. It's little 2-inch square lattice toppers,
Probably half a foot, 2, 4, 6, yeah, 8, 10.
or half a foot.
And is that lattice on both the 6-foot and the 4-foot fence?
Yes, yep.
Is that the gate?
Well, the gate is gonna look like that, but it's only 4 feet.
Okay.
So it's gonna look exactly like the fence looks.
So it's 6 foot all along there, all the way to that point.
And then
it
it gets
switches.
down to 4 where our side door is, and then there's nothing in front. It just stops right where our
Right
side
there.
door is.
Okay.
And then towards the back, it's 4 feet. And is that little circle?
This disregard. This is a 6 foot. That's an existing fence that we're just replacing with the same, so that it's consistent. And this is all existing, coming all the way down.
This piece.
And that little piece is just a 4-foot fence in the back. That just it goes from the back fence to the driveway, to the corner of the house.
That piece there that he's.
Yeah, that's a
going on?
4-foot
That's the 4-foot.
To
That's,
the gate.
with a little gate, and the gate is on the side by the driveway, by the
and that's of the new fencing with the lattice work.
that's new. Yep.
Okay.
Does anyone want a different page showing anything, or?
If you wouldn't mind just scrolling through all of it slowly again.
Yeah, so that's the driveway where the 4-foot fence would be, just along to the back fence. That little path is where the gate would be. So where you see where the fence stops, it would just continue towards Gravel Street, and it would replace this chicken wire.
Lovely.
Really? Does that have to go?
So it'd be in here?
So that's 4 foot.
Okay.
Starting there, coming down, and just to the end of the seat, really. I don't even know if you could see it by to the road as it comes. It stops before you can see it, I think. That's the post.
There's some more of that fence.
So that's still gonna be like 6 feet, and then it's gonna, as it comes down past the pines, it's gonna drop down to 4. So behind that little couch, it would start to be 4.
Does anyone have any questions for the applicant?
No.
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 Eric? Okay. All right. Thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you.
Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Would anyone in the audience like to speak against this application? HGC 20-16 is closed.
Does anyone else keep trying to scroll on Pete's? Trying to go down. I'm like, go down. Oh, whoops, I can't.
I want my mouse. I hate using the.
All right, opening the public hearing on HCC 20-17, 340 Packer Road. Who's here for this one? Name of owner,
I am Mike Wheeler.
Okay.
So I'm Mike Wheeler. I'm one of the 3 owners of 340 Packer Road. We've been restoring the house for about 3 years now. Recently, I decided to move there, so I'm trying to make a few slight changes on a couple things. I realized the application was a little bit kind of wonky because of the whole shutdown and everything, but there's two main things that I wanted to try to get across tonight. So the first is an already approved garage foundation. You guys already approved a garage that was 2-car detached garage, 24 by 24. All I'm looking to do is extend that garage foundation back 16 feet. It'll be the same 24 width and 16 feet back towards the back of the property. You almost wouldn't even be able to see any of it, any of the extension, but I'm just going through the process just because. So I don't know if you want to stop there and ask questions, or you want me to just go through the whole thing. You guys let me know, because there are a couple different pieces to it.
Well, let's stop and work on the garage one since we're here.
So the big thing is to get the extension off the back of the garage. I had included in there changing the bottom half of the garage siding from the approved hardy board to board and batten style. And I included the material in there. And I was just looking to do that on the bottom half of the garage. I wasn't changing any of the doors or anything like that. It was just simply changing the hardy board on the bottom half to the board and batten.
So you have an approved garage.
Correct.
The only 2 changes you're making to the garage is to request board and batten on the bottom and to lengthen it by 16 feet.
So in what I had sent out was three changes. The number 1 priority would be extending it. The second priority would be the board and batten, and then the third is that little dormer on the left side. You would only be able to see exactly what's in that picture. You would not be able to see the front side of that or the side view of that dormer at all, just because the house would be completely blocking it. So the 3 things I would be looking for would be that extension, the board and batten on the bottom, and then that 5-pitch dormer on the left side of the garage.
Are there any better drawings of what the garage is going to look like in the packet, Peter?
So I was a little hesitant to put anything in there just because it's already been approved, which I understand the dormer aspect hasn't, but that's why this is kind of a little bit dicey in terms of clarity.
Is that drawing there that follows the hand-drawn sketch, is that what you think it's going to look like?
Yeah, so this drawing that I included that we're looking at here is specifically just to indicate what the board and batten on the bottom half of the garage would look like. I said board and batten reference only. 10-inch pine boards, 2-inch batten, 9 inches between the batten. So it's just a picture indicating what the board and batten would look like on the bottom. If I was going to kind of indicate that this is what the whole thing should look like, the dormer would be on the other side of the roof, on the left side. But
so is the side of the new dormer, is it shingled? What's it covered with?
The side of the new dormer would just be the approved, it would be the hardy board, just like the top of the garage would be.
Just the hardy board clapboards, basically.
Yep,
then.
what you guys had approved already, yeah.
But we didn't approve a dormer, right?
No.
No, you did not.
So, I mean, this is a new application, not an amendment. So it's kind of hard because we don't know what the previous, like, we don't have the ability, without really bugging Linda, to see what your previous application had in it. So
I completely understand where you're coming from with that. I guess the mindset I was having at the time was just, this is kind of this crazy chaotic time, and you guys had already approved everything. And it was like, almost like, I want to say like 18 months ago, that you had approved the garage. That's why I'm kind of saying, in a sense, like the biggest priority would just be to extend the garage at this point, because I basically have a guy coming in to do all the grading of the yard and the extend the foundation. I'm just waiting on this approval for him to do that. I would even resubmit the shed dormer aspect if need be at a later date.
based on I'm only speaking for me personally. Based on the information that you've provided, I would be comfortable extending the garage.
Okay.
But to make other cosmetic changes, I can't really, we just don't have enough personally drawings or sketches to support it in the materials. I don't know how anybody else feels.
So is there a foundation in place at all or nothing?
Correct. There is, yeah.
You're just adding to that?
I'm just pushing right off the back there. So this picture we're looking at is you're standing in the backyard looking towards the house, and that foundation in front is the garage foundation that's already there. So I'm looking to extend back 16 feet from there.
So since you're unlikely to get to framing in the next 2 weeks, I would agree with Sarah that I'd be willing to go on the size change, but could you resubmit the architectural details or elevations in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly understand what you guys are saying. And if that's what you guys need me to do, then that's obviously what I'll do. I would hate to do the work twice. So I don't know, Linda, if you had mentioned that you still had the file. I don't know if it's as simple as making an amendment to what has already been approved, because it seems kind of silly to go back and redo everything when I'm just looking to change the material from hardy board. I know I get the dormer part, but just the material.
But you're changing. You're adding 16 feet to an existing building, so we don't know. Does it have windows in it? The addition, you know.
So you wouldn't. That's why it kind of comes in two parts. The whole addition part would be completely blocked by one of the fences I'm trying to add as well.
Well, that doesn't count though. I mean, fences and vegetation technically don't count. If you cleared the lot, would we be able to see the back of the garage? I think. When I say the back, I mean the sides.
Yeah. So on that side, no, you wouldn't be able to see anything. There'd be nothing. But like I said, I can certainly resubmit. I'm just wondering if there's a way to make an amendment to my previous one, so I don't have to redo everything.
I don't think you have to. I'm sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
don't think you have to redo everything. I think that you just need to provide a drawing of what the now proposed garage is going to look like from the exterior. I mean, all we can do is visualize what a 16-foot addition would look like, but that's kind of not what we need to put in the file. So you need to take your existing drawing of the garage and then add 16 feet to it and then detail it. So if there are windows, you really should show the windows, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I can certainly do that. But as long as we're on the same page as sounds like you guys are in terms of just extending it at this point.
I don't see that there's an issue with what you want to do, but you have to show us what it's going to look like. That's what
Yeah. No, I get that. That sounds fair.
Just some elevations incorporate the photos, make sure the materials are listed. And I personally don't think there'd be any issues.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So, all right, cool. So can we switch over to the fence aspect?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I had sent Linda over an email with the GIS has been up and down for me. I haven't been able to really, and I don't have a printer, so I'm locked in my house essentially. I print everything from school usually, but I sent over like a survey plan with some places where the fences are going to be. But I can also just kind of walk you through these pictures because they're relatively clear. If we go to the first fence picture, no, I would keep going to the front of the house if you don't mind. Ooh, that's tough glare there, huh? All right, so yeah, right there to that picture. So I'm looking to add a 6-foot fence along with an 8-foot gate. The fence is going to be set back to the window that is on the side of the house, which I'm not sure you can tell in the picture. Kind of looks like it's coming from the side of the house, but the fence will continue over to a stone wall that marks my property line. And the fence is going to be, hand constructed. It's not like a fence panel that I'm buying, but I submitted a drawing of the panel, of what it's going to look like. And so that's the 6 feet to the stone wall, excuse me. And then this is just adding where that fence would be in the back, that it's kind of from where the end of the garage is now over to the stone wall.
So wait, can you go back to that picture? So 10-foot run, 8-foot tall fence, and it's just covering that back portion. It looks like it's not touching anything though.
Yeah, so if we're looking at it, the right side of that thing, of the bottom right corner, is the edge of the current garage foundation.
Okay.
And that's going to run over to the stone wall fence
Okay.
on the left. And that in that picture there, sorry, that to the right there just says the garage extension. That's just to kind of indicate where the garage extension is going to be based off the fence. But like you said, apparently the fences don't count. So, and this is a picture from the front left corner of the garage, which is on the right side, over to the left side of the steps. And it's a 24-foot run. It's a 6-foot tall fence. And again, it's all going to be made of the same material. And that's just another picture of it. This is not a great picture here, but it's just trying to indicate of what. Can you go to the drawing, Pete? Would that be okay?
Further up, further down.
I didn't see it. I know I submitted it. It was in blue pen. It was a drawing of the fence.
See if I go this way.
It's page 43.
Thank you.
It's right before that one, Pete.
You got it.
There we
All
go.
right, perfect. Yeah. So they're going to be 8-foot panels in a sense, but I'm just going to hand make them. They are. I just like the way it looks a little bit. I'll have a top shelf. That's the 3/4 inch board for a top shelf. 4x4 pressure treated poles. It is a 1x1 wood post that kind of dresses it up going across there. And the top and bottom that are colored in blue are just the same deck boards, or the same fence boards that are going up and down, just turned horizontally and running that way. And that other picture that was down further was just an attempt to show you what it kind of looks like. My outdoor shower is currently dressed up the same way, but that is what the fence panels would look like.
It's pretty bright.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened on that. And maybe it's the way they uploaded or whatnot. They weren't like that when I sent them.
Yeah, that goes back to that.
I don't know if you even need to reference the picture, just if the drawing's good enough.
So you've got the fence. Are you, because it's just kind of tough to see what you're doing with it globally because there's no picture of where it's going around your yard. You've got a fence in the front. Are you trying to essentially fence in like the?
Yeah, I have two border collies, and I need to fence it in so that they don't get out. It's a much busier road than I want it to be.
Great. So you've got fencing on all the places that I think, because on one side there was a pretty high stone wall.
Yep. So the property itself, the stone wall is probably a good 6 feet up from the ground. It's kind of just built into the ledge, and then there's like another raised bed, and that fence is going to go on top of that, on that left bed. So it's just on the left side of the house, and then all the other pictures are from the back of the house to the garage, just sealing it off that way.
So you're fencing in the left part of the house and then using the garage as part of
Yep,
the way to block them in. Okay.
that's correct. Yeah.
All right. Does anyone have?
And I did submit this. I'm not sure it got in there, but I did submit a survey picture marking, a survey map marking where the fences are going to be, where the garage is, and whatnot.
Right. So I think there were a couple people, and you might have been one of them, who tried to get some information submitted before the 24-hour deadline, but because it was after that, we can't upload it because it doesn't give the public, per the rule of this new Zoom profile thing that we're doing, it doesn't give the public enough time to review it.
Okay.
So I'm certain you did, but it wouldn't let us. So does anyone have any questions or comments for the applicant in regard to the fencing? Heather, Todd,
No, I don't.
I'm good.
Don,
Me neither.
Eric?
I'm good. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Would anyone in the audience like to speak against this application? HDC 20-17 is closed. All right. HDC 20-18, 50 West Mystic Ave. I believe this is Kirsten Juck. I think she's
This is-
on with us.
Hello, this is Kirsten Sutt.
Sorry, it looked like a J the way I was reading it. Sorry.
That's okay. It's my chicken scratch. Good evening. So I am installing a central air conditioning system in the house. Line set will minimally alter the exterior of the home. There will also be a compressor placed in the back of the home. There will only be one line set, which will look like a downspout. And it will match the existing downspouts that are used for rain. Line set will be coming out of the back of the house, and where the compressor and the line sets are coming out is below grade of the backyard. So the picture with the arrow that is up right now is basically where the patio is. You will not be able to see it from the street because the patio is a couple feet in. So the house is on the corner of West Mystic. It's in the triangle of West Mystic and 215. So the view that you just had up was from West Mystic. This is with the picture that is up now is with 215 at your back.
So is that visible from the street?
It is not. If you are standing on at 215, there is a house, really a lawn. There's a house, their lawn, my lawn, and then from 215 at your back, you only see the lawn and the garage, which is in front of you. And between the garage and the lawn is the patio, which is below grade.
Yeah, it looks like the only thing visible that from the street will be the downspout.
That is correct. And not all of it. And so what is up, the sample is essentially what would be coming on out of the backside of the house.
Mhm.
This is the picture that's in front, that is in front of you right now, came from the contractor as a sample to submit to you.
I don't know if that helped at all enlarging it.
Yeah, that was the only size of the picture.
I'm guessing it's just standard slim duct, right?
Yes.
Hmm. I assume your downspout will be white.
Yes, because the other gutters are white. I'm sorry, and the gutters as well. Gutters are white.
If you scroll down, my drawing of the downspout.
I don't know if it would help. I also submitted a hand drawing, that might illustrate a little bit further.
So with this one,
Keep going, please. Oh, I guess okay, no.
Nope,
No, it didn't make it in. Okay.
I think this is
We
sufficient. what
probably
you've got
have
here.
enough.
Yeah.
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 Does anyone have any other questions or comments for the applicant?
Nope.
Nope.
No, not me.
Eric? No? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Would anyone in the audience like to speak against this application? HGC 20-18 is closed. HGC 20-19, 8 Elm Street. I think this is, I stapled it wrong. Is this Jill Mead? Yes. Bill, you're on mute.
It's Tim Mead, Jill's husband. How are
Oh,
you?
sorry. I didn't see you there at the bottom of the screen. I just saw Jill.
It's okay. It's the way I follow Jill.
Well, you have the floor there, Mr. Mead.
Well, terrific. So I'm not sure I can control the scrolling on my end, but I suppose one of you can. So this was just an application to install a 8 by 10 foot shed at the end of our driveway that is on Library Street, not Elm Street where the house is situated. So I just sort of gave you my best shot at what the plot plans were using your tax map. And then we took some pictures of the driveway itself and as well as sort of a picture of the shed that we intend to buy from Fleming's in Stonington. Fairly straightforward in terms of where it's going to be, how it's going to sit on the lot, and what the visibility will be, from Library Street.
So it's just going to sit at the end of the driveway, Tim?
Yeah, it's at the end of our driveway. That driveway is probably 60 to 65 feet. So it'll just sit at the end of that. Right now, I just have a lawnmower and trash can, and anybody who's riding a bike, they just put their stuff there. But, you know, rather than do that, I'd rather sort of get a little bit more organized and also put any outdoor furniture we have in there for the particular winter months.
Was there a particular reason that this one sort of caught your eye?
Well, if you have a couple hours on your hands, we can have Jill chime in. I'm sure she could wax eloquently on the subject. We looked at several that they had out in the lot, and this just seemed to be the one that had the feature set that was probably as close to, you know, the look of the house in the neighborhood as many of the others they had on display. And it was a convenient size for us and not really obtrusive at all.
I only ask because when you look straight down from the street, it is going to be quite visible, just sitting right next to the house. And it's not like we haven't done prefabricated before, but
yeah, these are made in Pennsylvania by Amish craftsmen. The actual quality of them is significantly better than what you might find at a Lowe's or a Home Depot, etc. And typically there will be, you know, most noticeably a car parked, you know, in front of the shed itself. We sort of back our cars in to Library Street, which gets pretty busy in the summer in terms of car traffic.
Tim, sorry, but the only problem is that there's not a list of materials included in it, and that's something that's required.
Yeah, that wasn't sort of made clear to us, I guess, in the process, but I'd be happy to pick up some literature from Fleming's and have that material included with any supplementary information you have. It's all wood to the best of my knowledge, other than the shingle on top.
Yeah, and just unfortunately with this whole Zoom thing, we can't, like Sarah was saying earlier, change it. So if you could get the information from them or print out a picture of the shed and write all the materials that are on it, I mean, that could be accepted. But it would have to be.
Is the shed going to sit physically on the end of the driveway?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
and it opens towards the road.
Opens toward the driveway, right?
Driveway.
Backs up on a stone wall and a fence.
Mhm.
So is the shed going to be painted the same color as the house? Not that we have control over color, but.
No, it's going to be, the house right now is sort of a pale yellow. This one is
Yeah.
going to be white with a cream trim. We will be repainting the house in another year or two, the same colors.
Okay, because I just think aesthetically, if it's painted white with the cream trim, I think it'll look much less obtrusive than the current photograph that you've got here in your application.
Yeah,
Though, as I
absolutely.
said,
Blend into the white fence behind it.
yeah,
And I did say that in the application that wasn't the color, but Fleming's doesn't provide you with the color until you actually order it and pay for it.
yeah, and we don't have any control over the color anyway. But I'm just putting in my 2 cents that painted
no,
white with a cream trim would look better.
Yeah, we're definitely not having it stand out and look ornate as in different colors.
Yeah.
So is the process from here to submit the details on the materials to Linda and wait to hear back from you?
I think unfortunately it means come back online in 2 weeks. But, you know, as occurred in the first presentation you might have seen, they neglected to include materials on it, and unfortunately we had to continue it. So your best bet's probably to continue it, get the list of materials, and then come back in 2 weeks.
Okay. And if the list of materials goes, if it went beyond wood, shingle, hardware for the doors, would that be, there's a new process for me. I'm just sort of not clear on what the materials list might reveal.
Well, I don't think it will reveal anything negative, if that's I mean, if it consists of other types of materials, I'm pretty confident that will be fine.
Okay.
We just need to add that list, and, you know, I apologize. We apologize for making you come back. Normally we'd just be able to add it to the application, but we can't do that anymore.
Okay, no, that's understood. I apologize if it was in the directions. I sort of mea culpa for not including a bill of materials on it.
We just assumed, because it's a prefabricated one from Fleming, that it was standard, because that they're obviously all wood with just a shingle roof.
That was my assumption too, but that's why I'm.
And it
I mean, we
probably
don't-
is. We just need to somehow get it on that application.
Oh, okay.
If it was an in-person hearing, you could just write it.
Write it down.
Why this is tough.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
And so you meet again in 2 weeks, and so if we supply material to you the next day or two, it'll be adequate for the next meeting?
Yes.
Correct.
Terrific. Well, thank you very much for your
And
consideration.
if it has list of like the internal materials, we don't really need that.
No, I mean, if you want to get into the real details, if you go on the Groton website, there's a historic district handbook that you could go through. But as long as you just list the exterior materials, I would be willing to say that's good enough, Sarah. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Will do then. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, HDC 20-19 is closed. Open the public hearing on HDC 20-24 Latham Street.
You got to ask if people have any public comment, I think.
I didn't think I do, because we're just continuing it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
But thank you. I forgot the last time. Denise Knott. She's here.
Hi there.
Hi there.
I'm Denise Knott. I own Nutmeg Building Remodeling. Eva Hildebrand is the owner at 4 Latham. She has an existing covered porch at the rear of her house. She would like to extend the living space on her first floor to incorporate that 10 by 20 covered porch area. There's not going to be any change in size, shape, roof line. We're matching all the existing materials, the painted cedar siding. There'll be 2 vinyl windows that are going to match exactly what she has. We are reusing the existing wood door that's in the rear of the house. I don't think I included a picture. I can definitely give that to Linda, but we're just taking the existing wood house and storm door, and we're just moving it to what will now be the exterior of the house. No change in the stairs, nothing. We're just closing in that 10 by 20 space.
I'm a little confused because it looks like it's already enclosed, or am I
That's
missing
the front. That's the front of the house. There's more drawings. Sorry, there's the back of the house. Right there. That just happens to be the neighbor. I just wanted to get you a picture of like the surrounding area. That's just a brochure on the vinyl window. There, sorry, there will not be any grills, but those are the vinyl windows we're using.
Is there a reason why you wouldn't put the grills in to bring it into conformity?
None of the rest of the house has grills. I could talk to Eva, but no other window in the house has grills.
You're right.
That's not the door. Sorry, that's just the program door that I had. Like I said, I can get Linda the door.
That's where the door's going though, right?
Yes, yes. That's just the backyard. I just wanted you to get a sense of the area that we're in. There she is. And as you can see, there aren't any other grills, so we were going to stick with the house.
Did we blow by where the windows are going, or are they going exactly where they are now?
They're literally going to be, they're not going to be exactly where they are, but they are going on the wide, the long wall, the 20-foot wall. The 2 windows are just going to be there, evenly spaced.
So you come up the stairs and you turn right to the door, which is now going to be facing.
It's going to be facing where she's at, like that side. It's going to be facing.
So then you walk through the door and then you have 2 windows evenly spaced.
On the right, you're exactly.
Okay.
I think, again, considering how we're trying to do this, I think an elevation would be
right.
preferred.
Oh, there's the door. I'm sorry, I did give her a door. That's the door we were using.
So Denise, not that we really have an issue with this, but it would be very helpful, as Eric just said, to have an elevation delineating where the door and the windows are going to go.
Okay, there is the elevation where the door is, but there is not where the windows. I gave the cross section of the side, and I gave this picture as the rear. But yeah, I can turn and print the plans so that you get those 2 windows.
I mean, you have everything else. You have the materials list. It's just being able to visually see where those windows are going.
I also would encourage you to have a conversation, despite the fact that the house doesn't have grills in the windows, it probably did originally. And if you could bring it back, especially with the neighboring properties showing that, I think it would probably look better. And maybe someday they would all look better.
Okay, I can ask her. I mean, she's elderly 75-year-old woman. I don't know that she'll be changing her windows, but by all means, I'll ask her. So yes, so I gave the cross section the side, but I didn't give the front. Okay. But I can definitely ask her to add grills.
I think what he's saying, you may have gotten this, but I think what he's saying is she may not do it, but maybe someone else down the road will, so that we can get the house to blend in better with all of the other houses. So it's not like we're telling you to go back and tell her to change all the windows.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Todd or Don, do you have anything to comment on?
No.
No, I'm not. I understand what Eric's talking about with the grills, but I don't know if adding grills to 2 windows in that house when there are no other grills really makes a whole lot of difference, especially when it's off the back. Because you're gonna have windows on the first floor that have grills, and you get windows on the 2nd floor and the 3rd floor on the back that don't have grills. So 6 of one, half dozen of another, in my opinion. So whatever.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Todd. It just seems a little unnecessary.
The only thing is the back of that butts up to a street, so it's not exactly the back.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure it matters to me whether it's the front or the back. It's just kind of, you're gonna stick 2 windows in with grills, and the whole rest of the house has no grills. On the expectation that someone might put grills in the future, I guess my feeling is, if someone decides to put grills in the future, they'll replace those 2 windows and put them in there too. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. Because maybe they replace all the windows, and if they're vinyl windows and they put grills in, what kind of grills are they gonna put in? Between the glass grills? Because that's not an improvement, in my opinion.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So anyway, something to think about.
All right.
Well, I
So
think we totally confused her, though, unfortunately.
Yes, I'm sure.
So Denise, I guess my recommendation would be that we continue this and then you submit the elevations with the windows for the next meeting. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's fine. So
Okay.
should I ask her to put grills in or? I'm sorry.
Sarah?
So I agree with Todd and Don that having two windows with grills is going to look kind of silly, and I think that it's consistency is better than having just two windows comply.
I would also go back to say that if, to Todd's point, what she would do would be to put grills between the glass. I would rather see no grills than see that. So
the consensus is no grills.
Okay. All right. So then I'll just tell her that I got to submit just one more drawing with face on, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
And the other side of the house has no window in it?
No.
it might not be the worst if you can print out an elevation of that just to have it in there to just have
Yeah,
it.
I agree, Eric. I think we should have an elevation of that side too.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Nope.
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. I'll submit them
Thank you.
tomorrow. Thank you.
All right. HDC 20-20 is closed. I think, Peter, correct me if I'm wrong, that concludes our public hearings.
That is it.
All right. So we will open deliberations on our applications. So deliberations on HDC 20-10, 29 Gravel Street. This was the proposal to remove the existing two-bay garage for Sully. Bob Mercer's the architect, and to build that three-bay garage where Bob submitted the additional information.
Sorry.
Any comments?
I think he's provided the detail that Eric's notice was missing, so I think the doors and the garage door are fine as submitted.
Yeah, I was going to move to approve, so.
So is there a second motion to approve?
I seconded. That's Heather.
Thank you, Heather. All right, I have to roll call the approval. So Sarah Moriarty, aye. Heather Giannakopoulos,
Aye.
Todd Brady,
Aye.
Don Levinson,
Aye.
Eric Goodman.
Aye.
All right, the motion is approved. All right, deliberations on.
2260.
Oh, sorry. Do we need to write that down somewhere?
I just
you
figured
got the
I'll put it in
paperwork?
there so Linda's got it, so Linda
Okay.
can hear it.
Thank you. All right, deliberations on HDC 20-15, 54 West Main Street. This is the signage for mortgage movement. I believe that we all agreed that the best course of action on this one was to continue.
I move we continue.
Second.
Don,
That's Todd.
all right. All in favor of continuing, I'll call on you, Sarah Moriarty. Aye. Heather Giannakopoulos.
Aye.
Todd Brady.
Aye.
Don Levinson.
Aye.
Eric Goodman.
Aye.
All right, the application is continued. Deliberations on HDC 20-16, 31 Gravel Street. This was the addition of the fence. The 6-foot and 4-foot fencing around the backyard. That was it. Any comments or motions?
I think the
move to
fencing is
approve.
fine.
Yeah, I'll move to approve.
I think the
Second.
fencing is a vast improvement over the chicken wire. Heather, you move to approve?
Yes.
Eric, you seconded? All right, all in favor? Sarah Moriarty, aye. Heather Giannakopoulos,
Aye.
Todd Brady,
Aye.
Don Levinson,
Aye.
Eric Goodman.
Aye.
The motion, or I'm sorry, the application is approved.
I missed
Edit
who
to-
seconded that.
I did.
Eric seconded.
Okay, thank you.
Am I going
2261.
too fast, Linda?
No, and you can speed up the voting if you just say last names.
Not mine.
I know, seriously.
Yeah, not
That's
Heather.
where you're gonna cut corners?
Yes.
All right, Deliberations on HGC 20-17, 340 Packer Road. This application is in two parts. So this was the addition of the garage and the dormer, and then it was also the fencing in the backyard.
So are we gonna, we could pass the fencing and continue the garage? Or or do we just pass the garage foundation extension and the fencing and then have another hearing on the actual building?
I think, well, let's think about that. Passing just the garage foundation extension.
That
So
lets him go forward with that work.
To create the foundation, but he can't build anything on it.
Right.
If I can just interject, I will not be getting to that in the next 2 weeks. I could promise you. Like, I gotta install wood floors on the inside before I touch the garage. So the foundation allows the outside people to do the yard and just get that foundation in the ground so nobody's digging up the grass I put down.
Are you getting to the foundation in the next 2 weeks or no?
Yeah, so I'm supposed to meet with the guy tomorrow to potentially talk about a start date, but he's pretty much ready to go. I had initially was supposed to be on the Tuesday, like March 17th or whatever it was, like in the middle of March. So I've kind of been on hold for a month here.
Okay, so if we were to approve the foundation, you would feel comfortable going ahead?
Yeah, for me, it makes the most sense for me just to do the foundation, then come back with all the detail for the other stuff.
Okay,
and then
and what about
the fence? Yeah, and then the fence to me I'm not changing anything about it, as long as it's okay with you guys.
All right, so to the commission members, what I would have to change how this is phrased. So let's just make sure everybody's on board with it. So we would make a motion to extend the garage foundation to be 20 by 40. And then we would make a motion, or in the same motion, allow the fencing that he applied for in his application. So it's basically an approval with, I don't have a approval in front of me, or maybe I do. No, I don't. An approval with, it's not even an approval with conditions because we're changing what we're approving, because we're not approving what he applied for.
Okay, so on the approvals,
Yep.
You can, there's a checkbox for application approved with stipulations or modifications as noted below.
Okay, so it would be an application with modifications.
Right.
So before anyone makes a motion to the commission members, is that something that everyone's comfortable with?
I am.
Me too.
Heather?
Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with the fencing, clearly. And I just want to make sure we're on the same page for the garage. So does anyone have any other comments before I make a motion?
No.
Okay. So I move to approve adding on to the garage foundation to make it a total of 20 by 40. And I move to,
Sorry to interrupt. It's the garage foundation is 24 by 24.
24 by 40.
Yeah. All right.
All right, Linda, want me to start over?
No, I'm good.
Okay. And I move to approve the fencing as applied for.
Second.
That was Don, Linda. So all in favor, Moriarty, aye. Giannakopoulos,
Aye.
Brady,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Okay. So
That was
that
fast.
application is approved with modifications. Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right. Deliberations on HGC 20-18. This was, am I in the right one? Yes. This was 50 West Mystic Ave. This was the installation of the central air conditioning system. Comments or motions?
Move to
Move to approve. This is Don.
Heather first, Don was second, Linda.
Okay.
Any comments?
No, I think this is this is hardly even visible from
Yeah,
anywhere. So
it's easy. This is not gonna be much visible from the street.
Oh, wrong table. Sorry. All in
Thank
favor?
you.
Moriarty, aye. Giannakopoulos,
Aye.
Brady,
aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Goodman. Goodman.
I,
We keeping you awake, Eric?
Thank you, everybody.
Morning.
All right. HDC 20-19, 8 Elm Street. This was the installation of the shed at the end of the driveway, which I believe the conclusion was we were going to move to continue this so that we could get a list of materials.
That's correct. I move to continue.
I'll second.
That was Todd and Eric, Linda. Moriarty, aye. Giannakopoulos,
Aye.
Brady,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Deliberations on HDC 20-20 for Latham Street. This was the closing in of the covered porch. And I believe.
I move to continue.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay. That was Todd and Heather. And all in favor, Moriarty, aye. Giannakopoulos,
Aye.
Brady,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Okay, so that is all of the public hearings. I don't believe we have any preliminaries, although it does say that we still have 2 attendees. Cody Blake.
He's nosy.
That's all it is.
Okay.
That's why I was smirking, because he was texting me saying he was laughing.
All right, so he's not coming forward. So then that brings us to public communications.
He also left because you embarrassed him.
I was just kidding.
No public communications.
No.
Okay. Approval of the minutes, which were so long ago, I don't even remember the date. March 3rd, 2020.
I move to approve the minutes.
I second the motion. Brady and Moriarty, all in favor. Moriarty, aye. Giannakopoulos,
Aye.
Brady,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Old business. I'm sorry, minutes are approved. Old business. Do we have anything?
Did you say new business yet or no?
I said old business. I think the only thing on old business is voting on officers, which, does anyone feel like doing that?
Voting on what?
Voting on officers, which we're going to pass on tonight.
Right.
Okay. So that would bring us.
Actually, it didn't carry over to the agenda, so it wasn't on.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right. I was probably looking at an agenda from a week or before. New business.
The only thing is, I think someone needs to just reach out to whoever bought the liquor store in Mystic, because
I
they
saw that. Yeah.
they got to do their sign thing. So
Right.
Oh, was the liquor store sold?
Yeah. He sold
Spencer
both.
something. I didn't really see the sign.
And Lynn. Spencer and Lynn.
Okay.
Just so you know, they make deliveries in case anybody's interested.
To my office. That'd be nice.
probably.
Yeah, they would. Absolutely. Just do curbside pickup. Wait, we're
There's
still
one
on
other
track.
thing. There's one other thing, Peter. Someone was talking to me a couple weeks ago about a project that we approved on Fort Rachel Place.
Fort Rachel Place.
Mike's
Garage.
or the drive.
Yeah, the garage, and that what got built there wasn't actual replication of what we approved.
I'll go check it out.
Yeah, I would go take a look. I can't even remember who told me about it and how they would even know, but
Linda, could you pull the file and email it to us?
give me the address.
14 Rachel Place, is
Is
that
it
what you said?
14?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a garage, right?
Yeah, it was a garage.
With a second floor space and
Yeah.
everything too.
It does look significantly different than what I remember.
Yeah. So you've seen it, Eric.
It's huge.
Yeah, I walk up and down there a lot. I used to live on that street.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
But maybe, Linda, just for the sake of everyone's at this point, is that possible in the future when we have, if there is things that we have questions about, could you email the files, or is there any easy way to get them?
So, so you just want me to email them, not as a part of the agenda, but just to, so you can take a look at them. Couple, you know, obviously we are trying to keep traffic in the building down. We could work on making appointments if you wanted to come in and look at them, which just, you know, just time out of your day, time out of our day. Sometimes the weekends, like I've been thinking about coming in and working a weekend. So if I'm here on a Saturday and there's nobody else here, you know, sure, come on and take a look at it. You know, once in a while the fire marshal has to come in and look at stuff. So, but if it's a small enough file, I'm fine with scanning it in and sending it to you.
Yeah, I think they were just 1/2 by 11, so.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought the architect came in with full-size drawings. I don't know if that, I can't remember if that was what was submitted or not, but they were, I think,
they
full
were,
prints, weren't
weren't
they?
That's
Yeah.
right. Yes, I believe that is what was submitted. So are you talking about the HDC file, or are you talking about the actual building file?
The HDC file, so we can compare it to what was built.
Right. I might be able to put it on the plotter and scan it in. I just don't know how small it will end up being.
Or even just a couple cell phone pictures, if that's possible.
Yeah. A cell phone picture of a 24 by 36 would probably be good enough. You could blow it up with your fingers. Just the elevations.
I'll have Seamus work on that.
Okay. Good idea.
My technology guru. But yeah, we can do that for you. Sure.
Is there any check in place so when we approve a file, you know, then they move on to building and zoning? If they change their specs, does building and zoning ever go back to make sure that they change their specs with us?
They should be. Residential, Seamus has been pretty much put in charge of on the residential side. So I'll have to reiterate that he kind of follows through and looks at it from what's on that file with historic information also.
Okay, because I mean, that's really the only way that someone could build something that wasn't approved if they need a CO.
Right, if there's some sort of
They're supposed to be that
alteration that was done that didn't get picked up.
And I don't know how much Seamus has even been called out there to do an inspection.
Yeah, they might not even have called it at this point, who knows?
Yeah.
That's the problem is, like, when you guys come for an inspection, you know, it's not like you bring the original file or even the set of plans generally. It's whatever we have on site.
Right. Usually what happens is when you go for the CEO on the project, then you open up the file before you sign off on it. And then you kind of check it off, all the different parts on it. So if there was a historical district approval that was on there, that's when it should be picked up before the sign off. Because honestly, it falls back on the applicant. If they're not going to do what they got an approval on, shame on them, honestly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Before we go, can I try something just to see if this is why my video wasn't working? And am I allowed to leave for a second?
I have a question. When I talk, does my picture show up on somebody else's screen?
Yes, Don. Yes. You're like eating the camera. You're so close to it.
It doesn't show up on mine for some reason.
Phew, that's better.
I know what I look like, so that's it.
Yeah, Heather, if you want to leave and join, that should
Okay,
be fine.
thanks. I just wanted to see if this was the reason that
And apropos of nothing, tonight is supposedly the biggest, most spectacular full moon of the year. If anybody's interested.
It was super bright last night.
Yeah, it's some kind of special blood moon or something.
I don't know if it was ever brought up in a meeting over the last month and a half, but Eric was appointed as a regular member and Mark is now an alternate.
So
Congratulations, Eric.
it was, our
And
last
hopefully
meeting
you
was
got
March,
sworn in.
our last meeting was March 3rd, which was the same day that he was appointed by the town council.
Okay,
We haven't met since.
haven't met since, okay.
So while
So
Heather,
congratulations.
yes,
I'm back. I'm back. It didn't work.
no.
I think the camera's zoomed out with all of this. Had a lot of Zoom conferences.
And the only comment I have for how tonight's meeting went is when we were in deliberations. So Peter moved all of the attendees to be panelists, where I had thought that what we were going to do is, as it was their turn to speak in the public hearing, then they would either be unmuted or moved to be panelists. But they all got moved to be panelists, and then they didn't get moved back. So they were permitted to speak during our deliberations, which I don't think that they should have the ability to do.
No.
Once their hearing's closed, they're not supposed to be able to talk again.
Right.
Is it like PZC where you can't say anything when they're?
Right.
Got it.
So I don't know if that's just if we just tell them that and say, you can't, okay, we're in deliberations, now be quiet, or if we need to physically move them back to attendees.
I know P&Z usually, they'll tell them, the chairman will just tell them, you can't talk now.
Yeah.
All right. I'll do that next time, if I remember. There's a lot to remember now.
Sarah, you have to redirect your camera so that you're not eating the bottom of the screen.
Really? When I look at it, I see like I have this huge
Your
space.
head's, on my phone at least, your head's at the bottom.
No, you're good on mine.
Oh, maybe it's because I honed you in landscape. Okay, that's it. My fault.
Okay.
Just quickly for the sake of conversation, but even with everything that's been going on, we're still moving forward on my project on Water Street. I don't think we were going to make that original deadline like we had planned, or start date like we had planned, but as of right now, we're still pushing forward. Just
Good.
All right. Well, you might have more streets open than you originally anticipated in fighting downtown Mystic busy traffic.
That's what Peter said to me today, and I never thought of that, but unfortunately, this could be a blessing in disguise.
Wait, what was that you said? What did you say?
It's such a huge construction project that's going to take up so much of Water Street that with a less busy Mystic, his project will be easier.
Yeah. And less gripes from other people.
Right.
Yeah. So I would rather have it busy because it really stinks what's going on right now, to say the least, but
Silver linings.
small.
Always got to look at the right side of anything.
Right. Whoever thought I'd be homeschooling a 9-year-old.
Jeez.
Well, not at home.
And especially your 9-year-old.
Right? Especially my 9-year-old. It's going to be a jailbird soon. So
we haven't started homeschooling in my house yet. I think just speaking to my kids is schooling enough.
I do just want to mention that we record the whole time.
Oh, yeah, whoopsie.
When you are doing this. And
yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Thanks for
I would
reminding
still
me.
criticize my homeschooling skills.
And I've only done curbside pickup at Spencer and Lynn twice. That was fun.
Never mentioning the sign. So, all right. Does anyone else have any new business they want to mention?
No.
All right. Well, then I move to adjourn.
Great job, everyone.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Really well. I've been worried about this for days and it went very well.
I think it did. I think
Yeah,
it did.
went good. Except for I'll try and get my video together. Sorry about that.
And I could stop the recording now, actually. Let's see.